What is a roguelike? Everything's a roguelike. But no, you actually hit the nail on the head. The original game that this whole genre is based on was called Rogue. Or at least, that's the common story, but it's not actually true. This is a picture of Rogue. It was an ASCII game that you played on terminals back in the day. It was released in 1980. And Rogue was, at the time, called a role-playing game. But the thing that separated Rogue from every other game of the time was that it was procedurally generated, which was the term for roguelike before roguelike became en vogue. En vogue-like, if you will. And what procedural generation is essentially the game is made as you play it. This dungeon layout wasn't set in stone. It was generated as you played the game. As was your encounters, as were the items you got, so on and so forth. And if you died, that was it. Game over. You had to start again with a new character and new items and new dungeon. And that's where we get the term roguelike. Roguelike games tend to be procedurally generated, and you beat them over a course of many different runs, each one being randomized. You may have also heard the term roguelite. Roguelites are roguelikes that don't completely reset. You make some sort of incremental progress every time you do a run. But as I said before, Rogue was not the first roguelike. This is Beneath Apple Manor, and it was doing the roguelike thing, the procedural generation of a dungeon, way before Rogue. And by way before, I mean 2 years before, in 1978 on the Apple II. But Beneath Apple Manor, doesn't really roll off the tongue. This is kind of like how before we had the term first-person shooter, we had the term Doom clone. But Doom was not the first first-person shooter. That was this, Maze, which was a 1973 game. In the end, it's not the game that did it first, but the game that made it the most popular that tends to influence a genre. So roguelikes will continue to be roguelikes, and Metroidvanias will continue to be Metroidvanias, even though Metroid and Castlevania were not the first 2D games with backtracking and pseudo-open world. And Smash clones are going to be Smash clones, even though they weren't the first platform fighter. That shit was fucking Joust, and you can't convince me otherwise.